If you must blink, do it now. Pay careful attention to everything you see. No matter how unusual it may seem. If you look away, even for an instant, then our hero will surely perish.
Hey guys, Monsling here with a review of Kubo and the Two Strings, the newest film by Leica Entertainment and Animation. Basically, if you don't know, Leica is a stop-motion animation studio headed up in Oregon by Travis Knight, and they do beautiful films. Okay, their first ones were Coraline and Paranorman and the Box Trolls. And, well, yeah, some of them did have their problems. The stories, the characters, the animation, the stop motion itself. I would recommend going to see all their movies, either via renting a DVD or trying to find it online or something, and then, you know, getting the DVDs if you really connect with them. But for Kubo, their newest film, I feel they blew pretty much all of the other ones out of the water. The animation and just the technical stuff, they completely blew, in my opinion, anything else out of the water that has been stop motion animation in the past. They've gotten their art form down to, I feel, almost a T, and some of the effects in this movie I've never seen in stop motion before, and they look fantastic. But as for the story and the characters of Kubo, it stars a young boy named Kubo, obviously, who has magical powers by playing the Japanese instrument known as the samisen. And basically what he can do is move paper and paper-like objects to his will, basically. At first he usually only does this to make origami figures and to tell stories to the crowd for money. But over the film, over his journey, it does get stronger. He uses it for other things, defeat the bad guy, you know, typical coming-of-age story. His quest starts, though, when his mother runs away with him as an infant because his grandfather stole his eye. That's why he has the eye patch. So he and his mother have to hide in this cave to stop his grandfather and his mother's sisters, his aunts, basically, from finding him. So there are 3 rules that he has to follow. He has to keep his samisen with him at all times, along with a monkey charm he calls Mr. Monkey, and he always has to be home by dark. Well, one day there's a festival, and one big part of the festival is that you get to talk to the spirits of dead loved ones, kind of like a Japanese Dia de los Muertos type of deal, but different enough. And so he decides to give it a try, to talk to his dad. Unfortunately, he doesn't notice the time, and, well, his mother's sisters come to take him back to his grandfather, who's the notorious Moon King, who's the villain of the movie. So, you know, he tries to get back home, and his mother comes, saves him, and then he's off on this big adventure to find pieces of armor that his father was looking for before he died, along with 2 other characters, Monkey and Beetle. They fight monsters and go on an adventure to find these, and eventually stop to defeat the Moon King. So the plot's, in summary, is kind of basic, but it's really the characters and the connection that they share that really propels it forward and into something that's a lot better, honestly, than what I'm making it sound to be. It's very emotional, too. Basically, there was... I'm not sure if there was a dry eye in the theater by the end. But it's really good movie, really strong characters, great animation. I'm not really sure what else I can say positively about this movie outside of holy crap, it is amazing, guys. You have just really, really got to see it to believe it, along with some of the effects and just it's just it's just so good, guys. But unfortunately, like I said before, the plot itself, typical coming of age story. They don't do too much different with it, again, outside of the characters and their relationships and how they connect. So, sometimes it might not be. It might feel a little slow, it might feel like it's hitting familiar territory. And yes, most of Leica's films, in terms of the plot and stuff, haven't really been that extraordinary. They've all had their problems, but, it's any film, television series, book series, whatever. Nothing's perfect, basically, is what I'm saying. But I feel like Kubo, they've done enough with it. They've done enough different. They've done it well enough that really, outside of maybe one or two big things, you really get sucked up into the action, into the emotion, into the characters themselves. And it really kind of cancels it all out. The only main thing with that I have to say that I had a problem with mostly, along with sometimes the pacing felt a little long, was just that I feel like they could have had a little bit more of the Moon King in there just to sort of get more his perspective. He only shows up basically twice in the movie for scenes that aren't really that long. So the character doesn't really have so much of an arc to him that Kubo and the others have, and I feel perhaps that's a little lacking. But other than that, that was really my only main quote-unquote complaint about the movie. Other than that, it's the typical great Leica film that really, if you want to see it, go to theaters, pay the money, you won't be disappointed. Maybe even go try to see it in 3D if you can, because it probably looks amazing in 3D. I wasn't able to go see it, but my other glowing recommendation would just be bring your parents, bring friends, because even people who don't usually watch animation enjoy this movie. I brought my mom and dad over to the film with me, and they were blown away by it too. They loved it. Maybe not as much as I did, but they loved it as well. But yes, if you're an animation fan or a fan of Leica, it is a definite must watch. But yeah, just go see it in theaters, especially since Leica, unfortunately, as great of a studio as they are, tend not to do that well financially, and each subsequent releases of their films have been doing worse and worse at the box office for Lord knows what reason. And Kubo only had about a $12 million opening weekend this weekend, so not doing too hot, guys. So again, if you watch the trailers, you're interested, you're even just thinking about going to see it, I say stop what you're doing, pick a day, go and see it. You will not be disappointed. You will not have thought you wasted money. It is a great film. Great animation. Just, it's a feast for the eyes. The story's great. The characters are excellent. The emotions run high. It might even end up being your favorite animated movie of the year, and I really kind of hope it gets nominated for an Academy Award. But those are my 2 cents on Leica's Kubo and the Two Strings. Go see it, enjoy, and have fun.